Hey guys, it's Ryan from Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning. Today I'm Ryan from Long Island Building and Contracting Consultants. These Fujitsu mini splits, they have 4 options. Did a quick case study on a block that I actually grew up in West Babylon. Hey guys, it's Ryan from Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning and Milone Building and Contracting. Frank. This is John, my buddy, John Malone. I met John a couple of years back, right?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
At a mutual friend's home.
Yes. Yeah.
That you were doing work on.
Yes, we did. Vinny's.
Yeah. Yes.
So I did a job for John, and I did a second job for John, and John paid me in full before we even did the job. And I remember saying to John, that's never happened before ever. So.
Well, I tried to get away with paying half, but he was chasing me down the block.
So I said, I got to know John.
And he could run a lot faster than me.
Successful guy. And here we go. So John basically going to talk a little about his new company and where he started. Successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, I've been in the world of entrepreneurship for quite a while. In business for myself, I never really liked having a boss, and on top of that, I've always had a real earning desire to make big money. I never wanted to, live the average life and be just another status quo human being, while I'm here.
Not that it makes you a bad person.
It doesn't make you a bad person, but I always wanted to, I didn't like the idea of not living extraordinary rather than ordinary. If you wanted to live ordinary, that's perfectly fine too, but that just was not in the cards for me.
We discussed that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a set fee of what you make for the rest of your life and get to retirement. Although sometimes
That works for some people,
yeah.
but not everyone.
Yeah.
Right, and that's perfectly okay. It just was not okay for me.
Yes. Obviously.
A lawyer takes on the profession of being a lawyer because it was not okay for him to be a doctor, and vice versa.
All things being said. Now, John, did you go to college?
I did not.
You did not.
I did not.
So
I actually, I did not even complete high school.
Really?
Yes, I was supposed to go back just to finish up one more class the following year to complete high school, but I decided not to do that, and I went right to work. I became a salesman at a plastic distributorship. I was a sales rep there for about a year, and then I was a kid. I was about 19 years old, and they actually put me in charge of their retail department, which is where I really learned how to interact with people on a respectable level and do business and learn numbers and
Well, that's a talent. Being able to talk to people and have a conversation is.
Yes, but that
you usually always think that.
that really helped round me.
Yes.
As a young human being,
Yeah.
as a professional and in the business world.
Right.
So I was there for about 4 years. Yeah. And then I left that position and I went to work for another company, which I learned that business and then decided to open up my own.
But all related to sales.
All related to sales.
Right.
The sales job that I initially had straight out of high school was person-to-person sales, and then from there it was over telephone sales.
Oh.
Yeah, after that position.
So you were in your early 20s when you actually started your own company?
I was 20 when I started my own company. I was 22 years old.
Same age, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did.
I feel like these talks you learn a lot about the guests. Like you
Yeah.
thought you knew some stuff, but
Yeah, because John and I have had, plenty of cigars together in conversation, but we never really got in depth about all that. But yeah, we started at the same. That's cool.
Yeah, and once I got into my independent business, which was a publishing company, believe it or not, and I started doing very well at the business, I always, at a very young age, admired real estate. And a lot of people do, but I always admired how if you own a home and you put somebody in there to live in it, they paid you. I had no idea about what you make off of that home, how often they pay you. I had no idea. I didn't know what property taxes were. I didn't know any of that. All I knew is that person gives you a check.
For living in your home.
For living in that home.
Right.
So when I purchased my first home, believe it, I was right across the street from my mother, and I purchased it for X amount of dollars, and I
In
rented
Farmingdale,
it.
right?
In Farmingdale, yeah, which is where I grew up.
Yeah.
So I purchased it for X amount of dollars. A year later, while I was renting it, I sold it, and I made $20,000. And I said, "Wow, this is pretty cool."
And how old?
That's my first. It was like 23 years old, and that was my first real estate deal. I said, "I own this house for a year. I got paid rent, sold it. I made $20,000." Then a light bulb went off in my head, and I realized that you could buy a two-family house for the same price I sold that one family for. And now, wow, wait a minute, I could get double the amount I was getting out of that one. So that's what I did. And then from there, I built a real estate empire
So you had the real estate and the publishing.
and the publishing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, how long did you have the publishing company?
I had the publishing company for about 20 years.
But you and me, I guess the real estate was more of a long-term investment, but the publishing company was very profitable.
The publishing company became very successful very quickly,
Yes.
where I was not even expecting it to grow at the rapid pace that it was growing myself.
And you were smart enough to take the investments the profits that you made from that company.
Yes,
and invest
which is
in
something I always
profit.
recommend to the young people today. If you're making very good cash flow, you're putting a decent dollar in your pocket, don't go out and blow it.
Yeah.
You want to buy yourself something nice or a nice car, fine, but don't go out and spend your money foolishly.
Yeah.
Correct. Keep your money close to you, invest it properly, because 20, 30 years goes very quickly.
Yeah. Now, you still had nice things, but what would you say your percentage, your being responsible percentage of, if you had 100% of things, you had 100% profit or whatever it is, you spent X of that 100%. What was it? On frivolous things, a watch.
I mean, foolish purchases?
Silly things you
what was
should
your
have
percentage?
done. Yeah.
Oh, it was probably about 30%.
Because there has to be a balance. It does have to be a balance.
So I'm speaking from experience.
Right.
But it was probably about 30%. I had boats. I had Ferraris, Corvettes, Vipers, Mercedes Benzes, Bentleys, you name it. So I've had it. And at the end of the day, it's really a big waste of money.
Right.
It's nice.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a big waste of money. And at my age now, I'm 50 now. When I look back,
Would have been better. Would have been better.
Would have been better.
Property.
Right.
Yeah.
But hey,
that's
listen,
it too.
I wouldn't trade it in. I had a good time.
Nah, it's awesome. Now, how many properties still have now, Joe?
Oh, right now I just have 3 or 4 properties,
Right.
but I'm going to start developing again soon.
Yeah.
I've been putting a lot of my attention and time into my new company, First Capital Pro. So where we do private lending to companies.
Right, that's what we wanted to talk a little bit about today.
Yeah. They rapid cash flow. We get them funded within 2 days. Unsecured, no credit check loans. So.
Right. So you got another business that's going to make you profits, so you're going to take the profits and invest into your real estate.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to get Ferraris and Bentleys anymore. I have too many kids now to do that. But
Yeah. Not enough seats.
Yeah.
So.
How long ago did you start the First Capital
It
Pro?
was about 8, 9 months ago now.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a good business. It's an alternative to your traditional bank lending. The red tape is very limited. We base the loans purely off of the revenue of your business. And if your credit is 500 credit score, it's not something that concerns us. We're strictly looking at the revenue of your business and what type of loan can it sustain.
So it's really business loans, not so much personal loans.
All business.
All business.
All
Yeah,
business.
all business loans.
All industries?
All industries, all across the country.
Okay.
Yeah, all the states and all types of businesses.
So anyone with a cash flow issue, maybe they're a little overextended.
Yeah, these kind of loans that we offer are short term, usually anywhere from 3 to 12 months, and they're designed as bridge loans. If you need an injection of capital quickly, we could get it for you to get you through whatever temporary obstacle you may be going through financially.
Right. I don't know if the camera can see that, but it's actually up there. It always picks up on the screen with John's website.
Firstcapitalpro.com.
FirstCapitalPro.com. We are the pros.
And who came up with that? John came up.
Even if I didn't, I'm going to say I did. I have to take the credit for that.
Honestly. But
You know, what can I say?
But it's basically if you're an entrepreneur, one thing you basically be an entrepreneur in whatever if you have it in you, you just gotta find your stick, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, different people have different desires in life, in all aspects of life, you know, and that includes business. You know, if you are comfortable getting a weekly paycheck and you're comfortable and very content with going to your job every day and working set hours and getting your paycheck on Friday, and that type of security is good for you, then you're successful.
Yeah.
You
Which
know?
there are advantages to that because you could basically turn it on when you get to work and turn it off when you leave work.
Right.
Owning businesses, it's really never turned
It's never
It's
turned
just
off.
on,
Especially in the service business.
If you call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm answering you like it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right. Which isn't necessarily the case for every business. Because how many businesses you can't get a hold of, you don't get a call back in every industry.
Yeah.
You know, so
Right.
not everyone runs their business the way it should be run. Which is also what we were talking about.
Yes.
So, but obviously you and I feel like we clicked, 3 years ago, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
John likes smoking stogies too.
Oh, nice.
So it's good.
Yeah, I enjoy good cigars.
Yeah, so we'll have
They
a
gotta
cigar.
be good.
And I pick his brain. So
I actually probably spend about 30% on those now.
not at least. So yeah, I sit and I get like a good hour with John, and I pick his brain about business. And I
Yeah.
try to learn things that maybe mistakes he made that I don't make. And that's really what it is. Like we were talking about, surround yourself with people you want to be like and become successful like. So.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have like kind of a mentor or somebody that's, maybe has a few more years on you that's been through what you're going through.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's, and I still do it today. I have friends, I'm 50, I have friends that are 70 that are worth, hundreds of millions of dollars. And, I always talk to them.
Yeah.
Because the wheels never stop turning and the brain never stops absorbing.
Right.
You have to speak to people that are more successful.
Right.
If you, I think that's a good avenue to go if you want to achieve higher goals.
Right.
You don't want to keep looking backwards. You want to keep looking forward.
Right. Now, when you live, the old homeowner of your house, you still have a connection with him? John?
The old homeowner of my house,
Was that John? Didn't you own that house?
the previous owner of my home.
Yeah, that's a guy that picked some.
Yeah, I have no contact with
Yeah,
him.
no contact, yeah.
But he is.
Because we discussed
yeah,
it.
he's a very successful guy.
What is it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
But he was very nice to do business with. He was a very nice man, and he has, a very successful company.
Yeah.
So,
What made you want to get into First Capital Pro? From real estate and then from publishing?
It was brought to my attention that these kind of loans were becoming pretty active in the world, and I tend to gravitate to businesses that are, are fairly in the beginning stages, even though this type of lending has been around for a few years. I saw a market for it, and I decided to try and sink my teeth into it. Yeah. I do enjoy it. I enjoy dealing with people. So talking to people comes easy for me. So
Right.
definitely, it's what you do with this business, and you're helping people.
Absolutely.
Out of a blind. Now, you also had to go and get licensed, or I know it was like the course you had to take. You up there.
No, we are. I mean, I have many different types of licenses.
Right.
I have my Series 7, my Series 63, my Series 24, which are all financial
Right.
exams that you have to take. But those tests I did not take for this particular company.
Right.
Although they are good, background exams
To have,
in your back
yes.
pocket. Yeah, they're very difficult exams, some harder than the others, but with this particular company, it did not require any type of license, other than, of course, being, legitimately incorporated in the state of New York.
Right.
Yeah. So that, no licensing is required yet. If one ever comes up where you do need to get a license, I will get a license.
Well, Frank does marketing for other companies that may be interested in launching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
When needed, especially restaurants. I mean, restaurants, there's always cash flow
Yeah.
issues, no
Especially
matter
now.
how good or how big.
Yeah.
I do a lot of restaurants.
Yeah, I figured that, especially now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now
the need
what's
is,
going on,
yeah, the need
yeah.
is very strong.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, you were saying that it's not as strong now because of all the loans that went out.
Well, being that my loans, as I mentioned, are strictly revenue based,
Right.
the month of April is killing deals for a lot of people.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so, but now that we got through May, which came back drastically for a lot of people, things are starting to get active again. But every business suffered in April.
Yep.
Everybody's
Absolutely.
sales dropped at least 30%.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
if it didn't, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, even people like they'll say to me like, "You're in service business, good thing you're in service business," but I had to keep my staff. One, because I didn't want to lose my staff,
Mm-hmm.
so overhead's still huge. But the only calls that came in were absolute emergencies.
Necessities, yeah.
No one wanted us in the house unless it was absolute. And the people who even
Yeah.
had emergencies still were kind of on the fence of letting us in.
Yeah.
So every industry, even if they were busy, I mean, besides supermarkets and
Right.
whatever else,
Yeah.
that's a whole different ballgame.
And if you run an e-commerce company, then you're online shopping, but that's
Yeah.
separate animal.
Separate,
Yeah.
but for the most part, even a lot of, if not all, service companies in like the trade business, I guess, for repairs, they were working, but they weren't working to their optimal point. So it was a heavy hit on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was a tough time. A lot of people were, very nervous,
Right.
letting anyone in their home. So people didn't leave their home for months straight.
but the strong will become stronger, right, Frank? You always say
Absolutely,
it?
yeah.
Well, that's the way, we gotta go. So we keep thinking.
Well, how many falls have you had throughout business?
Oh boy, I've had a few.
You learn from them.
Sure.
They're expensive.
They're expensive.
That's a blessing.
And every single one feels worse than the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you do, you almost know that I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah.
That's the cost. That's
Close up doing business to learn.
cost of doing business.
Now let me ask you a question. With
Babe Ruth had the most strikeouts, right? He had the most home runs too.
with the publishing company that you had,
Yeah.
staffing, was staffing an issue then?
As far as
So was that was early 2000s or late 90s?
throughout the
When it
90s,
started,
throughout the 90s and early 2000s, through 07, 08, around there.
Did you notice that people, as far as staffing, were they more was it a percentage based as your staff, or was it, pay, like, how did it work? Because what I notice now is
Well, but the employees I used to hire received a salary
Right.
plus commission.
right.
Which was a
But
sales.
were they eager to get to work? Were they eager to learn? Were they eager to make a sale? Or was it kind
Oh
of
yeah, I used to get great employees. I had really a solid staff.
Right.
Did you have your percentage of people that wanted to come in, put their feet up on the desk, and get paid $1,000 a week? Yeah, of course.
Right.
But they didn't last long
Right.
because I would recognize very quickly, who was going to be a good contribution to the business.
Right. So I think that's the
Yeah,
number one
yeah.
issue right now.
Yeah, we would generally with any business, you're going to interview 10 people to get one good one,
Yeah.
one good fit for your company.
Right. No, I mean absolutely.
I'm not saying they're not good people, but
Yeah.
to get one good fit for your company.
Yeah. Well, even that one good fit, maybe you think in the interview, oh, this is gonna be great, and then on the third day of them working,
You're
right,
right.
this is a bad
Not a
fit.
good fit.
Now I hire on trial basis because of that.
Okay.
Because
It's a
in
good
an-
idea.
Because in an interview, people say I know X, Y, Z. So really, what I do is I send them out one of my two supervisors, or I'll send 2 days with one supervisor and 3 days with another supervisor, and they'll both come, and then we'll meet and we'll discuss.
And evaluate.
And we'll evaluate, obviously level of pay, and then evaluate is he good to interact with customers. That's really the most important thing.
Customer satisfaction.
Customer satisfaction, how they speak to customers, and then we go from there. And it's trying. It's hard to find exactly what you're looking for, but
That's a good idea.
so
That's a good idea. This
But-
way they know that if they're a fit, they'll last. But also there's a very good possibility that they're not going to be a fit. And if you were to tell them, you're not going to really work out here, it won't be such a surprise.
Right. Well, the reason I bring it up is because when I got into the industry, like I said, when I got into the industry, it was 2003, 2004. the old timers in the business that I worked in for the heating didn't want to teach you because they wanted to keep their job secure.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like the old timers are eager to teach, but the younger people aren't eager
Or
to
less
learn.
likely to learn, yeah.
So it's flip-flopped in the last, 17, 18 years.
Right.
So that's why I asked you, early 2000s, I noticed it was one way, and now here we are 2020, kids don't, and it's unfortunate. So,
In my industry, every 20 to 25-year-old knows everything there is about digital media. So they said.
yeah,
Everyone they're on a platform, so now all of a sudden they have all the knowledge they need to work in any industry and they can work with every client, and
Yeah.
it's a complete wake-up call to them when you realize that they don't know any tracking of KPIs or how to run an ad or how to look at any analytics based on anything that they say. It's just not believable now.
Right.
Now again, it's a lot of trial. You
Right.
know, here's a sample, let's run this, see how it works out, analyze it, report back, and then did it work, did it not work, and then we can try to see if they're knowledgeable or if they're just saying, I'm 23 and I have Instagram and I know how to run an account.
Now these guys are doing, are they undercutting you on as far as what your fees would be for running a campaign or marketing? Are they
No, we'll pay them
right?
during the trial.
Okay.
Not what they would make normally, but
Right.
just, hey, this is a trial, this is to see how you are and see how you're
Right.
able to track everything that we need you to track.
Right.
And if it doesn't work out, we don't give them a client account.
Right.
We let them run it through our account.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden they can't reach out to any of the clients to undercut.
Fair.
Just because they, again, know how to do it. You know, early on starting, it was going into pitch meetings and whatnot, and every business owner said, my 22-year-old was on Instagram. They know how to do it. My daughters, we're just going to give it to the youngest person in the company. And it doesn't work that way. You know, you can have Facebook and have 5,000 friends on your personal account, but it doesn't mean that you know how to run a business account.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you know how to engage in customer service. Doesn't mean that you know how to do follow-up, email none of that is relative to the actual position versus you just saying, hey, I'm 22 years old and I can do everything.
Right.
So everyone now thinks they know it, but they really don't. Unless they're invested in it, the time-wise and the knowledge. And
Well, it's growth
learning.
mindset.
Yeah.
If you go into it thinking you know everything, you're not going to learn anything.
Absolutely.
If you go into it thinking, hey, I got a lot to learn here, I'll pick someone like John's
Yep.
brain. Or you're not pick your brain because you
Yeah.
know things that I don't know.
Right.
And that's how it works. It's growth mindset.
Yeah.
So we keep bettering every day.
Yeah.
So that's like the whole concept of this.
Yeah.
It's important to get it out there. And I teach my son. I don't teach him that he has to be the best or have the most talent. I teach him he's got to try the hardest and work the hardest.
Yeah.
So that's like the big thing my wife and I enforce.
Right.
Because listen, you're not going to be the most talented person. It's rare.
Right.
What's the percentage of making it to the major leagues who's playing baseball or something like
Right.
that? But as long as he works hard and is determined, that's the most.
And don't let somebody outwork you.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Also, I would like to really point out, though, a lot of people say you're going to work on your weaknesses,
Right.
but you should really, really focus on your strengths.
And hire someone.
Yeah, right.
That's what-
Delegate your weaknesses
Yes.
Yeah.
and utilize your strengths.
That's huge.
Is really, yeah.
That's huge
Yeah.
advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. How many people say you should work on it? Then you don't be
Right,
be
yeah.
as well-rounded as.
That's like me being, that's like a right-handed pitcher for the Yankees, trying to constantly pitch with his left.
Right.
Because he's trying
Because
to.
he can't. Yeah. Or swing with his left because he can't swing it back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to keep doing,
Right.
utilizing your strength.
Right.
And that's, if you're righty, that's your right arm. So,
That's great. That's great advice.
Yeah.
It's nail on the head.
yeah. Maximize your strengths. Don't worry about your weaknesses so much.
And be so good at it that you're going to have enough money to pay people to focus on these.
Right.
My friend Steve actually told me that too.
That would be the smartest guy in the room.
Yes.
You know.
And his thing was surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in areas you're not.
Right.
All
Well, maybe
successful
not
people.
even, maybe one person's not so much smarter than the other, but there's definitely a wiser man
Yes.
or woman in the room.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, every successful person I know is giving the same advice. So.
I'm glad you listened to my advice.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, my thing is like, and everyone who really knows me is always kind of like, slow down, like calm down. Like I remember guys that used to be higher ups in Blackmore before Ferguson bought them. When I was buying trucks, I bought 6 trucks in 1 year. They were nervous for me. They're like, whoa, kind of slow down. But was it a mistake growing fast? I don't want to say mistake, but was it a hard lesson when all the bills started coming in? Yeah, but maybe it was a lesson that I needed to learn to make me better. Maybe if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am today. Maybe I'd be further along, maybe I'd be less along. But it's all same thing with the marketing.
Yeah,
You
so
always tell me all the time.
we first started the first month that we worked together. It was, how much do you want to put into marketing? And you give me the number. I'm like, are you sure? You know, are you sure you want? And you're like, let's go.
Yeah.
And we've been going ever since. But you were ready to just
Even with both feet.
Yeah. There was
Well,
no,
you
there was
took
no
a
place
risk.
in the water.
Yeah.
You know,
You dip your toe, no, I jump in.
you know, you're guaranteed one thing if you don't take a risk. Is to stay right exactly where you are. You know,
Exactly.
if you don't want to stay where you are,
Yeah.
you got to take a risk. You know, everything in life is a risk.
Yeah.
You get married.
Take a risk.
You want to get married because you want kids and you love your, potential spouse. You got to take a risk.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, without any risk,
There's no reward.
you're not going to do anything. You're not going to move forward. Everything is a risk. When you take a shower in the morning, it's a risk.
Yeah.
You know, 10,000 people a year take a shower and die in the shower.
Yeah.
Really?
They slip, they fall.
I didn't
So
know.
every day,
10,000 people.
10,000 people a year. So I mean, if
I would have used that. I never really took the number.
but you shower, because if you don't shower,
You smell.
nobody's going to want to come near you.
You didn't make any sales unless you're over the phone. You know? But
That's true. 10,000 people a year die in the shower.
That's wild.
I didn't know that.
I learn something every day.
So maybe you want to do it every other day for your showers to play it safe.
I usually shower twice a day. I like to shower in the morning.
Twice the risk.
I know. It's crazy. I gotta be really careful.
Well, just take it easy.
I like to wake up in the morning and get to the gym or after I work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes I work out in the morning, sometimes I work out in the evening.
Just be
You
careful.
do morning workouts, right? In the morning?
Yes, I do. But ever since this quarantine, my gym has been closed and I have nothing going.
Right.
So I've been really not doing anything, taking advantage. And I don't feel so guilty that I haven't been doing anything because it's closed. But I should be doing something.
Yeah, if you're not doing nothing, I'm sure you're still making phone calls in your business and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
it's always work, it just doesn't realize.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't sleep.